All right. Oh, auspicious start. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our very first live, if you can't tell. And we are just so happy that all of you can make it, whether you're watching live or on a replay. And this is the first of what is going to be a monthly series on resellers pursuing financial independence. So we are going to talk with other resellers and learn from them on, what they're doing to achieve financial independence and what it means for them to retire comfortably. And so we are just so excited to be here. So if you are watching in the future sometime, leave us a comment and let us know, that you're here and that you are watching this video. But today we have with us Anita from the Retired Millennial. So Anita, why don't you kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and where you can be found on the interwebs.
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest, and I'm excited for the rest of this series. I'll definitely be watching the other interviews. My name is Anita, also known as the Retired Millennial, both on Instagram and then here on YouTube as well. And I'm a full-time software engineer for my 9 to 5. I also do some work for a local university, and then as like a passion project of mine, I've been reselling for almost a year now. It'll be a year this month.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of who I am. I'm kind of all about financial independence and reselling kind of on the internet. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for, being here today. So we are going to start just with like a quick 6. So we had kind of talked about this, just sort of like a lightning round of sorts, to
Just
kind
to
of open
break
it
the
up.
ice,
Yeah, exactly. So if you won $500,000 in the lottery, would you go with one lump sum or would you go for like payments over time?
I do lump sum.
Nice. Cooking at home or going out?
If somebody's cooking for me, cooking at home.
All right.
You don't cook?
No, I'm struggling a little bit this week. My boyfriend's in Hawaii. He normally does all the cooking, or most of the cooking. Yeah.
That's
So
all right.
I'm making it work.
Yeah.
Hotel points or airline points?
Ooh, airline.
Nice.
Nice. So low risk, steady returns, or high risk, high potential?
Steady.
Where would you like to live when you retire?
In the same county that I'm in now.
In California?
In California, yes. California, Monterey County. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And pineapple on pizza, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I like pineapple on anything. Pineapple in drinks, pineapple on pizza.
all right. Fair enough. Some people like the sweet and savory. That's fair.
Yeah.
I've always just thought that, having warm pineapple, it just feels kind of wrong, but it is what it is. That's okay. Okay, so we've got a working definition of financial independence, right? And we want to do this for the chat and for the people who are tuning in that might not know what financial independence is. So our working definition is financial independence is when your investments, savings, or passive income is greater than or equal to your expenses for a given time period, meaning that you no longer have to work to earn money. So what would you add to that, and how would you define financial independence?
That's a great question. I think you kind of, you could probably read that straight out of the textbooks. I think to kind of make it a little more personal, like what I do is envision myself owning my time. Like I have full control of my schedule. Like I don't have to, clear PTO through my boss. I would be in Hawaii right now with my boyfriend if I was financially independent. So yeah, a lot of time freedom is how people commonly refer to it as. I see it as specifically like being able to wake up when I want to, being able to like avoid the crowds, and just like, go somewhere during the week instead of the weekend, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we totally get that. We are pretty much on the same path where we hope to be able to travel whenever we feel like, just like that vibe on being able to go to Hawaii. Uh, but it'll come in time, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. If your plan is in place and you're consistently working towards it, yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Right, right.
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, so you've told us, about your name, but why don't you tell everyone else why you're called the retired millennial?
Yeah, of course. So it's definitely aspirational. So I am not retired yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much, you've heard people say like dress for the job you want kind of saying. I apply that to Instagram and my handle. So yeah, it was pretty much birthed out of like the moment that I realized that I can leave my 9 to 5 before 65. I decided to like document my like journey um, throughout like yeah and anything that I like learn along the way on the internet. So yeah, I thought of the retired millennial as like the handle and like the brand for just that blogging journey.
Yeah, excellent. So that's pretty much why
Yeah.
we called ourselves the five resellers. I mean, we're not financially independent yet, but we're pursuing it through reselling. So
Right.
it is
Yeah.
what it is with titles and whatnot. I think it's just fun that you're called the retired millennial because you are aspiring to that, and people will eventually know that you are retired. So that's excellent.
Yeah. Do you get that a lot where people like come to your page and they think that you're already retired?
Yeah, people are like, oh wait, like you're not retired already. If I do like kind of market research and say, like what's something that you think of when you think of the retired millennial, they're like, oh, that you're retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a misconception, but it makes sense why. But yeah, it's definitely aspirational.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit kind of about your FI journey. How did you get started and how did you kind of get to where you are now? So, how did you find out about financial independence? What kind of drew you in the first
And
place?
a status update on kind of the percentage that you're at
hmm
in terms of reaching your FI number.
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, I'm very like green, as they say. I
hmm
just found out about like the fire community financial independence retire early last year, the first
hmm
quarter of 2020, right before
Okay.
the pandemic and everything. Yeah, so it kind of happened on accident. I was actually ready to purchase real estate. So I had a semester off before was starting grad school. So I decided to
hmm
be productive with my like first quarter or semester.
hmm
Um, so I took a class locally that
hmm
had a real estate module
hmm
offering. So I was like, that sounds great. And then I learned about like budgeting in that class. And then I learned about like retirement and then ran into this retirement calculator on accident. And the
hmm
age field was like blank. Like it wasn't a drop down. It was like you input the age that you wanted to retire at.
hmm
I was like, oh, like that's interesting. Like I didn't realize you could choose.
Hmm.
That was
Yeah.
like my aha moment. So
hmm
yeah, I realized like how much I have to contribute every month. It was a pretty good calculator. It was like simple and it told you like, contribute
hmm
this amount and then you'll be able to retire at this
hmm
age or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was around that time, about a year ago, that I like kind of realized the formality around like financial independence, retire early. Yeah, and then I realized there was a whole community that also wants to do the same thing.
hmm
Um, yeah, and let's see. The other question was, where am I at now?
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, so there's financial independence. I'm working on the milestone before that, which I'm calling it, or I don't call it, everybody calls it lean FI, but
Right.
I'm kind of tracking that one first,
Hmm.
which is
hmm
basically once I have enough money for my essentials and just my essentials.
Hmm.
So I am 19% to lean FI. So my
hmm
lean number is 600,000. So basically, once I have that, I only have to work for like fund money and like gifts
hmm
and like donations and like travel and whatnot.
hmm
Um, yeah, and that I should be able to reach that in about like 5 or 6 years, or I guess 5 at this point. Yeah.
Nice.
So can you explain to the people in the live what do you mean by this number, and like how did you come to get that number?
Yeah, so there is a like 4% rule, and it basically says that you can withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio, like your number. So mine is 10,000. You can extract 4% of it. Yeah, every year, and basically it won't run out for like the rest of your life.
Right.
And it's based on a study called the Trinity study, that basically like calculated the probabilities like associated with that. And basically the way that you get that number is by getting your annual expenses and multiplying it by 25.
Right.
So
Yeah. Sounds like you dove real deep in, only having been exposed to it just 1 year. So this is excellent. 19% of the way there. That is awesome. So to even add more context to what Anita said, everybody, I want to expand on that just a little bit. And this is predicated on the idea that, your investments are going to sustain the time that follows after you've retired, right? And so a lot of people will invest in index funds, and many people, if not everyone, in the financial independence retire early community will do the total stock market index. And so this is not financial advice, so don't take it as advice. Don't get us in trouble, don't get Anita in trouble, but that's what in most cases the financial independence community will do. And that's that strategy with the total stock market index, as that tracks over time, we've seen that on average it yields about 10%. So adjusting for inflation, which is 2.5% to 3%, then that equals to roughly 7%. And so if you are on average going up by 7% and going down only by 4% of what you are spending on your investments, then you're pretty much safe. And so the Trinity study that Anita has referenced earlier is basically saying that and so much more. So if you're interested in it, please check that out. So yeah, that's excellent, Anita. We are so excited for you, because I think we need to take another look at where we're at, but I think we're kind of close to that. So we're kind of on the same path. So that's really exciting to have a companion there.
Yeah. So do you think, like, as you're going on this journey to financial independence, do you think, like, what would you say is like the main motivator? Is it really that, like, I know a lot of people kind of have this conception that people who want to retire early just want to like quit their jobs and not do anything productive for society. So kind of, can you tell us a little bit more about, like, what's the motivation for financial independence? Is it just that, you want to quit your job, or is it something more than that?
Yeah, so I actually like love my job. And I think it's a big misconception that the entire financial independence retirement early community wants to retire early. I think there are some people that do, but those are in the minority. For me personally, like, I usually dissuade people from just like, calling it quits and just, do like not being productive for society, because studies actually show that people die sooner if they retire early.
Really?
Which is, yeah, it's kind of an interesting study, but yeah, you can look it up. But I think it's a study done on people that retired at 55 versus 65, and yeah, like the death rate was higher.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I guess I could see why we're meant to be like, in connection and community and whatever, and work kind of does that. Um, I like the idea of being financially independent because it opens up a lot of options. Like,
Right.
I think I might have like ADHD. Like, I feel like my interests are always changing, and I just love having the opportunity to like have flexibility in my career. Like, I don't suspect that I'm going to be doing the same exact thing like in the next 5 years, 10 years from now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, my career is going to be very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just like the opportunity to do whatever I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
then secondly, I think, um, when I have a future family, I want to be able to plan around my family
Mm-hmm.
and not like a job, right?
Right.
So I don't know specifically what's going to happen, but I would love to like, spend time with my future children if I have them and stuff like that. So financial independence really gives me that flexibility
Mm-hmm.
that otherwise I may or may not have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's excellent. We have very similar goals where, we
Mm-hmm.
are hoping to start a family in the future. And, the flexibility, I think, is what binds the entire financial independence community together
Mm-hmm.
because, you want to be able to leave a job whenever you want to
Mm-hmm.
and not feel like you're chained to that job
Mm-hmm.
because you have to be there for the money. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I have options and I can quit if I wanted to, but it sounds like you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to, you don't need to. And so, the choice will hopefully always be there. And I think that's fantastic. I think the reselling community can learn a lot from that because um, I think that people often do reselling
Mm-hmm.
and go full time because of that as well. And so they're kind of like that mindset is there, but not
Yeah.
all of them know about financial independence. And so it's really important to us to try to build this bridge almost because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are in the reselling community but don't know about financial independence and vice versa. But the
Yeah.
mindset and all of that is just so interesting where we see that people just want to work for themselves, want to have flexibility, do things on their own time, and
Mm-hmm.
reselling can really help you do that. And so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we're hoping to get a lot of those types of answers from, you
Mm-hmm.
know, other resellers in the future with this interview series so that it can reinforce that idea that,
Mm-hmm.
resellers don't have to do this. For the rest of their lives if they don't want to, because I think that, people love reselling, but can they really do it realistically at 80, at 90? Because life expectancy is possibly, going to rise from here. And
Mm-hmm.
so even if you want to do reselling until you're 90, can you? And so
Mm-hmm.
we want people to think, even further ahead so that they can start planning that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I think for like someone that's entrepreneurially like minded, I
Mm-hmm.
think financial independence is just like a really good safety net. Like
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it basically like I think if you're entrepreneurial, you're gonna keep working. Like, and if you're a reseller, you're probably gonna keep doing it. But with
Mm-hmm.
just without the worry of like, financial stability. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about money anymore. It's just, you can probably even like scale your business, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about like a main source of income or, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. Like I think about that sometimes of like it would be so nice in like a reselling business to like not ever have to do the things that you don't want to do in reselling, like hire people to do all the like tasks that you don't really like. And then you just get whatever is like left of the profits and like whatever, that's just fun. And you get to do like all the fun things that you like, but you don't have to do all the things that you don't like.
Right.
So
That's kind of the idea of the 4-hour
yeah.
work week. Have you read that book?
I haven't yet. No, I've heard a
Hmm.
lot of good things though.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea that you
Yeah.
basically have other people do all these other things
Mm-hmm.
and you are only working 4 hours a week after you've put in all of these systems so that,
Mm-hmm.
it just works like a machine.
Yeah.
And then you get all the money. So
Yeah.
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 I feel
anyway.
like I have bosses that understand that concept.
Yeah, because they've got you doing all the work. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so while we're talking about bosses and work, it sounds like your main vehicle to reaching financial independence is your job, right? As
Yeah.
in, that main stream of income. What are some of the other streams of income that you have? We've seen it on Instagram, but I'd love for you to enlighten everyone else in the chat about
Yeah,
having multiple streams of income and how
Mm-hmm.
important that is.
of course. So yeah, yeah, most of my like future my financial independence goals are being funded through my main job, my 9 to 5 job. I'm currently contributing about like 1,700 to like 2,000 a month from that, and then about 1,000 reselling. And if right now I have in like a second, I have a part-time job basically, and it's really busy. So reselling has kind of taken a back seat. It's more like passive these last 3 months. Like I haven't gone sourcing that much, but I'm still getting sales. But like basically that $1,000 is still being met through that like part-time job.
Right.
And then the other kind of things that I do passively, like I house hack as well.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
like out of room. So that's like pretty simple. It's like as close to passive as possible. Like I still have to like clean the house and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have to do that anyway.
Right.
And yeah, so I mainly use that income though for my like down payment fund. Don't really invest that right now. So yeah, just building that up.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've got plans to get a house, so a down payment for a home.
Yeah, home. The plan has been to do primary residence. And in fact, I was like, I almost closed on a condo last year, but then it didn't end up working out. The sellers didn't want to come down on their price. It was like 29K over appraisal, and they didn't want to budge. And it wasn't good business. And then COVID started, and everything was uncertain, and then things kind of went crazy.
Right.
So I paused that goal and actually extended it by a year. And I'm still trying to figure out whether primary residence is a way to go, or if I want to invest in like a rental. So that's still in the works. But in either case, I'm going to need a down payment. So that's what I'm building up for.
Nice.
With that source of with the rental source of income. And yeah, that's mainly it. I mean, there's like I'm big on like credit card hacking too. Like I use my credit card to pay my rent, and then I get like 3% back from that. So that's consistent extra money coming in.
Yeah.
And Rakuten, I love Rakuten, and like all those things. Like I definitely like count all that as income when I get like $100-$200 check from that, like just from shopping or referrals. Like that's always nice.
Yeah. You are really hustling. You've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, really.
All right. So with credit card hacking, one thing that comes to mind, if you and everyone else isn't already doing it in the chat, on eBay, if you pay for your shipping through PayPal, you can actually attach it with your credit card. And I don't know if you currently do that, but that's what we've been doing for quite some time now, and hopefully everyone else is looking at that. Obviously pay off all of your credit card every single month, but that is just one way to if you are on eBay every single day like we are, and you're selling stuff, that's basically free money to buy the shipping through your business credit card and get those points. So yeah.
I just bought like $100 worth of shipping supplies. This is a YouTube video I've been wanting to make. I have all the footage. I just haven't edited or uploaded it, but I'll let you guys know. I basically got poly mailers. I got printing labels. I got tape and like the clear badge with the suffocation warning on them.
Nice.
About $100 worth of stuff, including shipping, and I didn't pay anything for it because I used my like credit card rewards on it. So like zero expenses on that front. So
nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Hey, while we're talking about your YouTube channel, Anita is so close to 1,000 subscribers. So let's get her there. I'm gonna put her link in the chat. So you guys please go subscribe to her. She has got some really great content, and one of her recent videos, the iPhone, getting your iPhone for free, that one has really gotten a lot of attention. So check that out. Check out all of her other content, and like all of her videos. Help her out because she is so close to getting monetized. Let's get her there.
Guys, you guys are the best.
Okay, so
it seems like something you would like. I would,
yeah. And you're in the reselling community. We should be supporting you in that way, because I think most everyone is in the chat is mostly reselling. I think there are some like-minded people who like financial independence, but really most of the people I've seen in the chat are reselling. So please go subscribe to Anita.
I mainly document my strategies that have worked on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I feel like I understand that algorithm more than eBay. And it's been very frictionless for me. I do both platforms, but I feel like most of my sales come through Facebook Marketplace. So that's what you can expect. It's a lot
right.
Yeah. So I was looking at that earlier, and we don't sell that much on Facebook Marketplace. Like, we don't have all of our listings over there. We mostly sell on eBay, and then we have all of our things listed on Poshmark, but we don't make as many sales over there.
Yeah.
So what would be kind of like your advice for people starting Facebook Marketplace, or what are some things that you might say, like, oh, this is different than eBay, or things like that would help people get started or kind of up their game, because they're like, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
So
I feel like eBay, from the stuff that I've sold on there, I feel like a lot of it is very vintage. It's very unique. It's like a collectible. Those things kind of do really well in terms of what is it called? Like profit, the average sell price and stuff like that. From my experience, Facebook Marketplace average sell price is much lower, and items that do well are very kind of ordinary things. Like people are usually looking for a deal too, so the cost is typically a little bit lower. They're just general blanket statements, considering categories or anything like that, and assuming that you're shipping. But that's basically, I kind of have those two buckets in mind. I have the collectible, kind of higher value items. I stick to eBay for that, and the more ordinary things kitchen appliances, home decor, clothing, for me, do really well on Facebook Marketplace. And yeah, it's very strange because let's say if you have a Fire Stick or something like that, or an outdated Roku. You look it up on eBay, it's worth I don't know, it's selling for $5 or $10, and after you do the math, you're not going to make a profit on it after, But if you sell it on Facebook Marketplace, somebody will pay $10 plus shipping for it, and so I don't think there's a big overlap between shoppers on platforms, and Facebook Marketplace just has a ton of users, and not all of them are on Facebook Marketplace, but Facebook does a really good job of integrating all their products. So you're on the same app for Facebook Marketplace as you are on Facebook feed. So the marketplace ads sometimes show up on the feed. So yeah, definitely maybe start with clothes and see how that goes. I know you both do a lot of clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to cross list on there.
Yeah. The funny thing about how we've been using Facebook Marketplace is that, you mentioned, collectibles and things and unique things. Those are actually the things that we sell, pretty unique things on Facebook Marketplace, pretty exclusively, really. Most of our clothing, we don't consciously, actively, cross post to there, because we kind of do have that in mind. It's like they've got totally different audiences. So yeah.
Yeah, because do you do local pickup, or do you mostly ship your items from Facebook Marketplace?
I mostly ship, but I also sell furniture. Yeah, so furniture does really well. I do that locally. Yeah, and they're just if I see a nightstand or something that I think is cute and would sell, I don't think I've ever not sold furniture. Yeah, the sell-through rate is very high on furniture for me. Yeah, I don't flip it in terms of renovating it. I just buy something that's in pretty good condition that I think will sell locally. I've sold a few non-furniture things. Yeah, actually, before I discovered shipping, when I did my 0 to 1K challenge, everything that I sold on Facebook Marketplace was local pickup. So I would meet up with people and sell them a handheld blender and a fruit holder and random things like that, logic puzzle. That was actually the sale that I made in this journey. It was just meeting up with somebody. But then I discovered shipping, and that's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just do it from your house and
Yeah.
not drive, 15, 20 minutes just to meet someone.
Right.
But
drive 15 to 20 minutes, and then the person is like, I'm not coming, or they just never message you back or whatever.
Yeah.
We have so much
we
trouble
we
with
hate
that.
ghosts with Facebook Marketplace. That's one of the downsides with everyone being able to message you and asking about this thing. It's almost as though it's more accessible on Facebook. There are more people asking things than on eBay.
Well, and the suggested question is this still available? Like, why is that the suggested question? Because obviously it's still available. It's still on here.
Yeah.
But
It's
but anyway,
just funny. But yeah, I think you can change that message. But yeah, like I love getting questions through Facebook Marketplace because that actually naturally boosts it. Like Facebook Marketplace
really
rewards engagement and sales. So
interesting.
actually something that I do is I'll like purposely buy really low cost items, and I call them like my puns, and I'll just list them for like $5 or $7, and it basically triggers like a chain of other sales.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like Facebook is like, all right, she's selling things. I'm gonna like boost more of her listings, and that's one of my favorite techniques.
Nice.
To bring sales. Yeah.
Yeah, we remember that from your video. So if you're curious about that, everyone else, if you're curious about that, you should definitely go check that out on her Facebook or on her page about Facebook Marketplace. She's got a great video on that. So moving on, how about we talk about more financial independence related things? Hopefully it'll kind of intertwine with the, reselling. But you had mentioned kind of, the amount that you wanted to, you're about 19% of the way to lean by. Do you have kind of an age that you hope to retire at? Is that a goal at all?
Yeah, so I'm definitely taking like the slow fi approach where financial independence is the age is more flexible. My plan is to reach lean FI. So lean FI comes first. It's having my essentials. That I should be able to reach around 35. It'd be nice to do it earlier, like in 3 years instead of 5. Yeah, and then like if I keep my contributions the same, then I'll be able to retire or like fully be work optional by 42.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not, I'm like not married to it because, I might find like the joy of life take over after lean FI, and I don't know what will happen, and, things change, but I'm currently on track to reach lean FI at 35 and then FI at 42.
Nice, nice.
That's awesome.
Those are big goals. That's why this title of this video is retiring in your 40s. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We just love that. And so you kind of allude to this idea that you want to maybe keep working, but are you a big traveler? Tell us some of the other big things that you hope to do when you're retired. Do you have any philanthropic goals? Do you have any charity related things that you want to be doing?
So I would like to, at least at Lean FI, I would love to switch gears into entrepreneurship and do like YouTube and reselling. So I have the reselling project is an 8-year project for me. My $0 to $1 million project that's gonna, continue for 8 years. So I'll definitely still be there when I hit Lean FI. And then maybe like once I'm like, fully financially independent, I could definitely see myself like running for mayor.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, like the neighboring town where I grew up. Yeah, I have a heart for that town. I wasn't born there, but I was raised there, and I have siblings being raised there. And yeah, I have done philanthropic work before. Like I started a nonprofit. We didn't become an official nonprofit, but we're basically like a college club, and then did a lot of outreach to the community. where we
That's
taught.
awesome.
Yeah, I taught people of all ages how to code. So sometimes I think like, I wonder if I could start like a coding school. We'll see. Like that's part of my other like side job is I teach computer science. So, I don't know. I definitely find that fulfilling. And I'm doing some cool like statewide work in that now. So it would be like natural for me to either support that like at an administrative level or educator level or something like that. No official plans, just thoughts.
Right, right.
Yeah.
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 And you also have a few thoughts on, after monetizing your YouTube and all that. Why don't you tell everyone kind of your hopes and your dreams about YouTube? Because I think everyone in this chat has a YouTube channel at the very least, and they have dreams too. So why don't you just enlighten everybody on, kind of your plans on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, getting monetized is what we all initially want. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's just like a cool milestone, right? Even though you're getting paid like pennies, I hear,
Yeah.
at first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to be able to like have a full-time income from YouTube like in 3 years. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the goal. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah.
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 So
It
I'm
sounds.
hoping that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm hoping that so once I reach 1,000 subscribers, um, which hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks, I was wanting to hire an editor to do all my like thrift haul videos because I want thrift haul videos to come out consistently, and then I could
Hmm.
focus on like different topics, like either like reseller tips or excuse me, or financial independent kind of content.
Right.
So that's the goal. I've been talking to the editor already, and we kind of worked out a deal and stuff like that. So I think it would be a nice investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so fascinating. When I look at your Instagram, it's like 99% financial independence.
Yeah.
And when I look at your YouTube, it's about 90% reselling. And
Yeah.
so, I would just love for you to, have those worlds collide in a very strong way in the near future. So that's very exciting. Let's
Yeah.
let's all get her to 1,000 subs, y'all. She is so close.
Yeah.
And where are you on your watch hours?
I just checked. I like never check it, but people always ask. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Let me just double check. And I just checked it because I was curious, and I'm at 1,800,
Okay.
almost like halfway there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like by the end of the year, I'll probably go up to like 4,000, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
help her get there.
Yeah. It sounds like you are like a person who makes a lot of goals. Like you have like very like as you're talking, I'm like, wow, she has like very specific plans and goals. Like, do you have like a goal writing, kind of
Journal
a journal, or you have like a
planner.
system that you use, or do you do it like annually, or you just kind of like for each thing you just think, okay, I need to be here at this amount of time, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have like a rhythm. I think it's more of a habit at this point. Like, I think a lot of it has to do. I went to this like private school when I was little, and we had to like it was we didn't really have like a teacher. We had a supervisor, and we had these like cubicles. Sounds like jail. But we had, like, cubicles
They're training you to be workers.
an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we had like goals we set out for the day. So I think
Mhm.
from an early age, I just always like kind of had that goal mentality in mind.
Mhm.
But yeah, I definitely am goal driven. I think. Yeah, yeah. I feel like otherwise I like don't know what to do with like
Mhm.
next steps and things like that. Not all my goals happen at my timeline. That's okay. But I like
Mhm.
having just like an aim. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So I don't really do anything special. I don't think like I think every month I see what I want for that month. Or every quarter or two, I've
Mhm.
been doing like quarterly goals. Um,
Mhm.
just like assessing like, hey, what needs to take the back seat? What do I need to prioritize? I basically always know what my priority is.
Excellent. Hey, that's better than most.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
that I think that's just fantastic because having, long-term and maybe even stretch goals is great. And, tracking all of that week by week, month by month is incredibly important.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
So you talked a little bit about like, 0 to 1 million in terms of reselling. So can you start us back like how you started reselling? Did you kind of start that before financial independence or you found that after financial independence? And then what do you mean by 0 to a million?
Okay, so 0 to 1 million is a project that I started, or it's a challenge really, where I wanted to flip random things and invest all of the profit, into the stock market and reach $1 million with a $0 input. So my genesis was like basically me selling a gift, and it was okay to sell. I knew the person that gifted it to me would be okay; their feelings wouldn't be hurt if I sold this. So yeah, I basically just sold one item that was collecting dust for profit, for a $15 profit, and then I used that $15 to go to the bins to get things, to source items, and that's basically where I've started, like tracking things. Like I track everything, and like analyze what's working, and then make decisions for the next month on that. And that's like the big like 8-year project that I have. Like I have a whole thesis around it. Like, can you become a millionaire with like less than 10 years of effort, with $0, and still be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor? So like I'll be able to get there by like 65 because I'm taking the coast approach. Like I'm basically gonna stop contributing to my account, and maybe even flipping, in 8 years when my account reaches like around $130,000.
Nice.
Like from that point, I'll be like the investments will be able to reach $1 million without me doing anything. So that, yeah, it's just like fun for me to just execute that, and also demonstrate that it's very accessible. Like you don't need money to comfortably retire. Even retiring with $1 million at 65 is $40,000 a year, income, which is, if you manage your money well, you can live a comfortable life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're comfortable talking, and totally you're okay if you're not, but do you invest in index funds as most people in the financial independence retire early community do, or do you do something else? And the reselling money, is that what you're using as a vehicle to grow that?
Yeah, so I'm the $0 to $1 million. I'm tracking like in a vacuum. So when you so when I think of my $0 to $1 million, I have like a Roth IRA. And once I max it out, I have to open a brokerage account for that. But right now, I've been able to stick to the limits. But anyway, in that project, I do have like a separate account for it. And I do invest in a target date index fund for that. So it's like pretty, like you said, middle of the road. There's a little bit of international stocks, U.S. stocks, and bonds in there. And target date index funds basically do all the hard work. They like will shift you closer to a bonds portfolio, like as you get to that target date. Which for me, I think I set it to age 70.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's, and then I do like, there is a small percentage of my investment, or my reselling like portfolio that goes into crypto. I figured that like all of my profit like is basically free money, right? Because I've never put a single dollar of my earned income into this business. Like I figured I could take a little risk on it. So that isn't doing too well right now, but I'm holding onto that. Yeah, for
Fingers
the
crossed.
for the future. I was gonna dollar cost average like 5% or like 3% of like every month's money, but I think I'm just gonna stick to what I've been doing before. Yeah.
So does that mean that from the time that you've started reselling, you haven't like that $15 that you spent that first day at the bins, then that profit. So do you track like the amount of profit? Like at the beginning, I'm sure it's easier now because you kind of, you have like a business, kind of like a separate account for your reselling. So you just kind of withdraw from that, or is it really like tracked? Do you really track it well, I guess?
Yeah, I track everything. So like I've been tracking it since at first it was 0 to 1K. Like it was just me and my boyfriend challenging each other to like who can make $1,000 fastest and like how many flips, to get to that. He had at the time he like bought something for $1 and flipped it for or not 900, $90. And we're like, wow, let's like, because let's like race to 1,000.
Right.
I really kind of wanted to like get a sense for our different styles in reselling because he tends to like sell really high profit things. Like he focuses on technology and like sports stuff. And I was just curious to see like who would get there first with how many flips. And I actually got there first.
All right.
All
right,
girl
Anita.
power.
With like 43 flips, I think it was.
Nice.
In 51 days, and that's including like some of the early shutdowns that happened. So there was interruptions, but I still made it to the $1,000 net profit.
Wow.
So I've been since then just tracking everything. Basically, all I do is like I track my payouts, and then I subtract what I spend on inventory, and then I subtract what I spend on shipping.
Nice. Cool. Well, we're coming up on 15 minutes before the hour, so why don't we kind of start wrapping things up? I would love for you to kind of talk about something that you wish you knew, or some piece of advice. Well, not financial advice, but some piece of advice that you would give people who are interested in, financial independence, or the things that we've talked about.
I feel like I had a prepared answer and I totally like blanked on what that advice would be. I think the thing I tell all beginners is to do like the $1,000 challenge. Like try picking a platform for the first $1,000, and just see how you're enjoying the process. Like, do you like sourcing? Where are you going to source? Like, I feel like after you reach that $1,000 net profit, you have all those questions answered. Like, where the sourcing place is. Like, kind of get your rhythm down. You know how to list things, and like all the mechanics questions, like get answered in that process. So definitely like start there. And then some people find it helpful to have a category. I personally am eclectic and kind of, have a broad range of inventory. But the other thing that I wish, so I got introduced to reselling by my boyfriend's dad. He's like big on eBay. I think he was considered like a super seller or power seller.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so he's like very active. On top of his day job, he just like sources all the time.
Wow.
So yeah, like I don't know. I wish that I would have known that you can start and maintain a business with low cost inventory. I always thought like you had to like, pay like more than $5 a thing per item. Like even $5 is kind of a lot for me,
right?
to spend on like one thing.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known the bins existed. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we are totally of that same mindset. Our average cost of goods, like pretty much our entire inventory, is about $2 to $2.50, and that's our business model. We often joke to others that we go to the bins a lot, so we call each other bins trolls. So we're just like, that's our business model. But at the same time, that's a great way to get started, right? And that's a great way to build something, because it's very low risk, because it's low cost. And so those two things go hand in hand. So that's excellent. I love that advice. So wrapping things up, we want to close out.
I think we should, if anyone in the chat has any questions for us or for Anita, send them now, and then we'll answer them kind of before we end. I don't know if anyone has sent any questions.
I don't think any specific questions for Anita. So why don't we start the final four, and then if anyone asks any questions, then we'll try to weave that in as well. So the final four: what is your favorite finance-related book, YouTube, podcast, or IG accounts that everyone should look at, or just something that they can peruse?
Yeah, I find myself being very influenced by Paula Pant. I really like
Oh
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Afford Anything by Paula Pant.
Yes. You can afford anything, but not everything.
Right.
I really like her message, her way of viewing finances and talking about them. I also like Graham Stephan for finance. On YouTube, that he's a big finance person. I like all his channels. And then I mean, there's so many great influencers and people in the FIRE community. So definitely follow the hashtag FIRE community on Instagram. It's hard to just name a few because there's so many people, and collectively you could learn so much on there. That's how I did most of my learning, actually, was through that community.
Nice.
So I think those are my top 3 resources.
Excellent. So we've got a question from Hustlin' Hooks. She says, or they say, Adine and Melinda, they say, Anita, what is your general goal to live off of your investments? They want you to look broad, I guess.
Yeah, is your general goal to live off your investments?
Is your general goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to tap into my money as far as I can. Technically, I will be able to starting at the age of 35 for my essential expenses, but I want to personally just keep working. So it's hard to tell, honestly, because I plan to keep working, and it's like if you tap into the money, then you miss out on future growth.
Right.
But yeah, definitely maybe at 60 I'll just draw the line for good and actually retire.
Right.
But I'll have the option to for that. I just personally want to keep working.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always nice to have at least that option, because then it gives you you're actually making an intentional choice to do the work or to use that money from the investments. And that is actually where the freedom lies, is okay, I'm actually choosing this rather than I have to do this to feed myself or put a roof over my head or whatnot.
Yeah.
So why don't you give us just 1 second to switch over on something? We're going to make you we have to switch.
Yeah. Our phone is about to die.
Oh, okay.
That's why. That's what's happening here.
We're just switching it.
Oh no, it's upside down.
So the other question that we had was, what was there one specific reseller or social media or YouTube or Instagram account that got you started on reselling, or did that specifically come from your boyfriend's dad?
Yep, just from my boyfriend's. And my boyfriend's been flipping also since he was in high school. He used to flip Oakley sunglass parts.
Wow.
So he's actually been a teacher as well. And now I've got to the point where I teach him stuff as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
the
funny.
Learning continues. Okay, so what has been your favorite thing to sell, or your highest dollar, or just the coolest thing that you sold?
Yeah. So when I read that question, I kind of thought of reselling as the science of reselling and the art of reselling. And I love both parts equally, I think. I love being data driven with all my numbers. I like, making decisions on sourcing based on what's worked and all that stuff. And then when it comes to the art of reselling, I really love those. These are 1 in 50 items, but that antique weird thing that has no label.
Yeah.
There are very little labels on it, so you have to actually find out what it is.
Mhm.
Like, I did this with a hat. Like, I saw this strange looking hat, picked it up because it weighed like nothing, right? Cost me like $1 or something. And then I looked it up and then eventually found it on eBay with like a $400 comp. And it
Whoa.
was like it was like a vintage UPS hat. It was just missing the like the label or the
Wow.
little pin. And then so like things like this where like there's that whole like research process and then like you find
Mhm.
out that there's actually people that pay a lot of money for this and are looking for
Right.
it, and it's
Mhm.
rare and it's old. And then there's like the whole auction process that goes on. Like I have a lot of fun with things like that where it's like from
Mhm.
start to end it's like really like stimulating the
Yeah.
entire
Mhm.
time. Um,
Yeah. Doing the research, we totally get that. Doing the research on something that is
Mhm.
super rare and
Yeah.
has so much potential is
Mhm.
exhilarating. And
yeah.
we when we were starting out, we have found, just a few of those
Mhm.
grails, I guess you can call them. And that stuff gets you hooked on reselling. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
It's just like, like I said, maybe 1 in 50 of my items have been
Mhm.
like that.
Hmm.
And they're usually old things. They're like vintage
Right.
items.
Mhm. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah, it always feels good when, like, you have that thing that you just, like, you felt drawn to and you were like, "Oh, this is, like, something cool," and then to have that affirmed to be like, "Yeah, this is cool," and I just, like, kind of had this intuition about it, like, I just knew in my gut that it was, like, gonna be awesome. That feels really good because then you feel like, "Ooh, like, I've got this spidey sense of reselling," almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love those items. But then I also can't lie that I like also flipping like things that
Mhm.
just make me money as well. Like
Yeah.
so but I definitely have a more like magical moment with those kinds of items.
Mhm.
Antique books I love too. Like I found this
Mm.
Alice in Wonderland book at an estate sale
Mhm.
and I bought it for $5 and I ended up selling it for like close to $70.
Nice.
Yeah, like to someone not even the United States. They were like somewhere like overseas.
Mhm.
Wow.
So like yeah,
Wow.
just yeah,
Yeah.
going things like that
Like
definitely are.
through eBay global shipping program.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Don't sleep on the global shipping program, everyone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's so amazing sometimes to think that eBay allows you to sell this thing across the
Mhm.
world and they'll take care of it after you send it to Kentucky. It's
Yeah.
just funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so one last question.
Yeah. So, do you have any kind of upcoming projects that you want to, tell the chat about? And, again, kind of give a refresher on where people can find you, how they can stay in touch with you after tonight.
Yeah, of course. So I actually have been meaning to start like a fireside chat series on my YouTube.
Hmm.
So I'm planning kicking that off this August, and the theme is slow FI, slow financial independence. So really kind of the intersection between slow life, really enjoying the
Hmm.
journey, and financial independence.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
oftentimes a lot of people in their financial independence pursuit are like hustling and kind of like focus on the destination that they kind of forget
Hmm.
you know self-care, they forget like relationships matter, things like that. So there's a subset of people who practice slow fi,
Hmm.
so they leverage their process in the financial independence journey to really like enjoy a year off or whatever. So I'll
Right.
be interviewing people that are doing that. um, yeah, and then, what else is yeah, I mean, I
They
also
can find you.
yeah, they can find me on Instagram, um, the dot retired dot millennial, on YouTube, the retired millennial,
Hmm.
and then on, Buy Me a Coffee also, I have a membership on there, so if you wanna be part of,
Hmm.
like, my
Nice.
reseller lounge, I'm kinda just soft promoting it right now, I haven't done, like, a full campaign for it yet, but that's
Hmm.
there's a few people in the community right now in the membership, um, yeah, so those are kind of, like, some of the projects that I have right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we have had such a fun time with you, and that hour just flew right by.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we thank you so much for joining us on
Hmm.
our first ever, live stream where we talk about reselling and financial independence. We are so happy that you were here and that you gave us your perspective on your journey. And we thank everyone in the chat for joining us. We really appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much.
Of course. Can't wait for number 2.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.